fate. This is the way. The truth is, I am Iron Man.
Tells me the most relentless.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another Film Optix review brought to you by the Drive-In Podcast Network. I'm your host, Christian, and I'm joined by my good friend and my co-host, my co-host, Devin. Wow. And today we're going to be reviewing the latest film from Warner Brothers titled Judas and the Black Messiah. Before we begin today's review, we'd like to thank Warner Brothers. We'd like to thank Warner Brothers for allowing us to watch and review this episode early for you guys. And you can listen to our podcasts on platforms around the internet, and make sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Film Optix. That is Optix with an X for all of our latest announcements. Devin, how are you doing today, man? Happy Taco Tuesday.
Man, Tuesdays are rough.
It's
every week.
Yeah, it's been, I mean, it's even more rough because of the Super Bowl outcome. I mean, what was that? It was terrible.
It was a pretty awful game.
I was at Double Dogs, which is like, it's kind of like B-Dubs, but just like the version down here in old Music City. And I mean, there was a lot of fans on both sides. Obviously, I was hoping for old KC to win again, but they just couldn't pull it through.
Tom Brady he's just never going to stop.
He's
Terminator.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the guy, but I respect him. I respect his game. I respect his talent. So there's always that. I'm just very, I don't know. It was definitely very uninspired. I liked especially the Super Bowl performance. You said you liked it, right? Earlier today.
I did.
See, I wasn't like, oh my God, that's like the best thing I've seen in years. Like, I wasn't overwhelmed. I wasn't underwhelmed. I was just whelmed. Like, it wasn't anything, all out of the ordinary. Like, it wasn't memorable.
I didn't think it was the best ever either. I just thought it was
for what it was.
Good.
Yeah.
I liked how he used the entire field and like different parts of the arena, not just a stage at midfield or whatever.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I wasn't like,
and there was a great meme that came out of it, so that's
of course. The memes will never die. And that is one thing I really appreciated about that performance is him looking through the maze. I think the first meme I saw was like when I lost my mom at Costco.
Yeah,
which is very, very true. That place is humongous. But yeah, I was just I was whelmed. I know a lot of people don't say that. I was actually talking to my mom about it earlier. She's like, why'd you say that on the podcast? I'm like, well, guess what, Mom? I said it. So it's.
Do you like The Weeknd in the first place?
I do. The
Weeknd.
I do. I think the production of the halftime show was amazing, but it was all flash and no heart, at least for me. Like, it wasn't the worst, but it definitely wasn't the best. I saw people on Twitter like, oh my gosh, this is like the best Super Bowl performance we've had in forever. I'm like, Lady Gaga, Coldplay / Beyonce / Bruno Mars. Hello.
It was barely Coldplay.
I mean, yeah, obviously, yeah, it was barely Coldplay, but still, it was still there. Hey, they brought on.
I stand by Bruno Mars being one of the best.
Yeah, I honestly, I think Lady Gaga's is by far the best. Like, even last year we had Shakira and Jennifer Lopez for the halftime show, and we had oh my gosh, Demi Lovato sang the national anthem. I'm like, no, that's the way to go. The national anthem this year wasn't super bad though. It was all right. Eric Church and I forgot the girl's name, but the duo together, for more reasons than one, was definitely needed, but we won't get into that. I'm not sure if you've heard about what's going on in the old, the world of country there, Devin. But yeah, let's get into the review here. Before we start, I just want to let everyone know we will do, we'll, as we always do, our first initial thoughts, and then we'll just get straight on in to the nitty gritty of all the good stuff, but not for too long. We don't want this to be a super long, in-depth review for all. We understand you guys have lives and whatnot. You don't want to listen to us yabber on for an hour. So Let me read the synopsis here really quick, and then, excuse me, we'll get into our non-spoiler section here. So the synopsis reads, the story of Fred Hampton, chairman of the Illinois Black Panther Party, and his faithful betrayal by an FBI informant, William O'Neill. The cast stars Daniel Kaluuya, LaKeith Stanfield, Dominique Fishback, and of course Jesse Plemons.
It was basically a nice Get Out reunion.
Pretty much.
Lowell Howery was also in there.
Yeah, he was. And it was directed by Shaka King, and it will be hitting theaters and HBO Max simultaneously this Friday, February 12th. Devin, what a film.
Yeah.
Wow.
It doesn't get much more relevant.
Does not. What did you think of this?
I was just so impressed because, like, I don't know about you, but I had never heard of Fred Hampton, which could partially be my fault, but in general, the education system just does not do justice to any sort of Black history, or anything like that.
I mean, if you live out in Utah, you can have your kid opt out of Black History Month altogether. Like,
yeah, apparently.
That still blows my mind. Like, I'm sorry if I had to sit here and listen to white history.
We don't really need Utah. We can just cut them off. Can't we?
Yeah, Utah,
just
North, South Dakota, all those random states that But yeah, it was this movie. I didn't know who Fred Hampton was, but I was talking to my mom about it, and that was during her time. Since Fred Hampton was relatively young when it came to the Black Panther Party. So she remembers, bits and pieces of that. So that was more of her time. But yeah, I can't say that we've, if we learned about, the Black Panthers, it was kind of, I would say, more in passing.
Pretty much the way it goes in our education system is, you get a lot of Martin Luther King Jr., which is great. That's good. You get a mention of Malcolm X. They're like, yeah, this guy existed. You don't learn anything else. That's all you need to know. And then that's about it. They don't go into any details about any of the civil rights movement or any sort of Black history beyond just the bare minimum that they feel they're obliged to give.
Yeah. And that's always been a problem, in the American system. It's, we can spend hours and hours learning about Christopher Columbus and how he sailed the ocean blue. But, it's not even just Black history. It should be for me is we shouldn't need to have a Black history, just as in, I guess what I'm saying is it needs to be more of American history. If we're going to learn about American history, we need to learn about all aspects instead of just, Christopher, the white way or whatever. We need to learn about, Black history, Asian history, Hispanic, pretty much everything that makes our nation what is supposed to make our nation so great and why people, come to our country. So, and that's what I mean. Obviously, I would still have, recognition for each minority ethnic month, when it comes to Hispanic Heritage Month and Black History Month, things like that. But I wish we could just kind of meld it all together for and call it American history, because this film is all about American history and, more so Black history, but it was some crazy stuff. Did not know what to expect. I knew a little bit about the film going in, no spoilers, of course, but it was wow. I
remember
was
the trailer did a really good job of setting it up, because I remember seeing it. I don't remember what it was. It was back when we went to the theaters. I remember seeing it in a theater. That's depressing to think about.
Yeah,
a year ago. It's a year ago now.
Dude, it'll be a year in March. We were a week away, Devin, from seeing A Quiet Place Part 2.
It's depressing.
And where is it? But yeah, sorry, go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Yeah, the trailer did a good job of just showing the general flow of the movie. Kind of got the bad guy, Jesse Plemons. He's so good at playing the bad guy. I love it.
He's so calm, cool, and collected, and he's like,
He'll just snap your neck though at any second. You just know.
He'll be your best friend drinking a beer with you, and then like the next minute he'll like slash your tires, and he's like,
Yep.
"Oh, gee, man, that's too bad." Like, bro, it's too much. It's way too much. But yeah, this film was wow. It was everything I wasn't even expecting. Like, I just did not know what to expect from this, and it really just, I mean, the performances all around were just fantastic. I don't think there was like a weak performance from recent memory as of now that I can think of. I would definitely want to watch this movie again. The runtime's around 2 hours and 10 minutes?
Yeah, it's about 2 and 5 minutes.
2 and 5, yeah, that's what I thought. The only minor issue I've had and was, with Daniel Kaluuya playing Fred Hampton, he talked like really fast. So
yeah,
like,
there were some moments where I wasn't picking up everything, and I told you while I was watching, I had French subtitles, and I couldn't figure out how to fix that, so I just rolled with it.
So when I went into the screener app, it was into the Warner Brothers screener app. They gave me there was 2 different versions of it. There was the one with the French, for whatever reason, French subtitles, and there was one without French subtitles. I'm like, okay, well, I'll just choose that one. But I mean, unless you know French, unless you're hiding something over there, Devin, you're gonna be getting a nice little
I
raise.
learned some by watching this movie.
I was gonna say, it's crazy. Excuse me, it's crazy out there. But yeah,
I wanted to talk about Daniel Kaluuya's performance because it was just so good. He looked like he packed on about 50 pounds or so for this role.
Yeah,
like he got pretty thick.
Yeah, but he still looked like good. Like it wasn't like. It wasn't
powerful.
Yeah, it wasn't like Christian Bale and Dick Cheney, or like the weight fluctuation. The way that these actors and actresses are able to gain and lose pounds, even with Amy Adams in Hillbilly Elegy or whatever it was. She had packed on some pounds for that, and it's like you look at her now, it's like as if it never happened. Granted, that movie was probably shot like a year or 2 ago.
Yeah.
But still, it's like,
I wonder what came first, this or Queen and Slim for him.
Yeah.
He was pretty slim.
He was very slim. Yeah. But yeah, he packed on a few pounds. Like we said, he still looked good. He looked stocky. Like, we're ready to.
The sideburns meant business.
Yeah. Yeah. But hey, I love it when people really get into the role. Everyone's always impressed by weight fluctuations. We've seen it time and time again. More recently
but even his voice inflection, you mentioned sometimes there was trouble making everything out, but
yeah,
you can tell. I think they played a clip of the real Fred Hampton towards the end of the movie.
Yeah, they did.
And it sounded just the same.
Just the same.
Really nailed it.
Yeah, it's crazy how you can learn someone's mannerisms that quickly, or just pick up on that, and it's especially with Daniel Kaluuya is English, so that just makes it even more impressive. But like I've said time and time again, I feel like it is so much easier for Brits to like hide their, or even Australians, because we've seen it with Alana Pierce. Obviously she's doing like the Valley Girl thing, but it's just really easy because like I feel like American accents, depending on the American accent, we're definitely more laxed. We don't pronounce our P's and Q's as well as our English brethren across the pond. But yeah, I think that it was a great, like, whether or not I couldn't hear it or not, like I thought it was amazing. But I do kind of wish, like, there were times I had to kind of like rewind just a little bit to kind of understand what he was saying. Other times I'm like, I don't even know what came out of his mouth.
Some English subtitles definitely would have helped me out.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. Yeah, it was, man.
It's weird. Like like Tenet had all those complaints. It's like these modern movies, there's just something a little off about the sound mixing, that they're not like portraying the voices correctly.
Yeah, when I was younger, watching Lord of the Rings in the theater, you can still like the sound mixing, especially when it came to like Sir Ian McKellen. His voice was more on the quiet side, so it was a little bit harder to hear. But now, actually, like with the 4K versions of the Lord of the Rings set, the sound mixing is way better. But yeah, I do agree with you there. I really don't know what it is about the sound mixing, because yeah, Tenet was like worse. And like usually, you know, if even if I'm talking to someone who has like a thicker accent, like it's easy for me to kind of like, you know, process what they're saying. But I mean, having a conversation in real life versus, you know, on the movie screen where you only get to hear everything once, unless you know, go back and watch it again. That's it's very different. But yeah, I don't know what it is about these modern movies. It's like, and they're saying, sound like this. It's weird. It's very strange. But hey, I mean, it just not much we can do about it at all. But you ready to get into the spoilers or anything else you wanted to touch on before we dive in here?
Let's do it.
All right, ladies and gents. The time is now. We're about to go into our spoiler alert. So you have been warned. So we're in our spoiler section now. So Devin, that ending, did not expect LaKeith Stamp or
it's always the words that come up on the screen that surprise you the most at the end. Like,
dude.
I'm just reading them and I'm like, whoa.
He just like, I mean, 'cause the whole movie starts, you know, with William O'Neill, you know, stealing a car or pretending to be the feds. I don't know why you would try that, but I mean, I guess he even said in the film, you know, he said, you know, to a black man, a badge scares someone more than a gun, especially if you're black. You know, you walk in there like a black guy walking in, you know, robbing another black dude with like a gun or something or a knife. It's like, well, that's easy, you know, like I have that, but like you pull out a badge, they're like, whoa. He even said, you know, the badge is like you have an entire army behind you. And I was like, yeah, that's very, very true. But I was not expecting William O'Neill to just, you know, be a snake. It's a snake.
And he turns out he did one on-screen interview in his life for PBS, and I believe it was like 1989 or something.
Yeah.
And then on the air date, he commits suicide, which is just really crazy to think about.
He was such like, I mean, talk about being like a two-faced type of, you know, playing both sides of the coin there. It's just like, he was just so nonchalant about it. He was like, yeah. And like, he was an active member for both, you know, the Black Panther Party and, you know, working, canoodling with the feds. And I was just like, oh, like that the ending scene where, you know, they just raid the Black Panther headquarters in Illinois and they just mow everybody down. I was not expecting that at all. Was not. I thought he was going to have some kind of change of heart. I'm like, you know what? I feel like that's too predictable. So let's just see where this goes.
That's the craziest part about all of it. Like that's how it really happened. And that's something that we should know, but we're so undereducated in that area that even at the end, they come up on the screen that the people who survived that shooting went on to try to sue the city of Illinois police department, or the city of Chicago, I should say. And they tried to sue them for like $47 million.
And they only got like one.
Settling 12 years later for like $1 million.
Man, oh man. Absolutely not. I was like, wow, that was mind blowing. Like that made me, oof, my gosh, like you that's so much of it. Like 12 years later, fighting for that type of justice in the system, and it's like, oh, we're not even going to give you like 1/3 of, you know, the damages, and it's just like, it's insane, dude. It's
just
crazy.
Just like the end of the shootout, like they go to check on
Uh, Fred Hampton,
and they're like,
dude,
"Oh, you
that
had a chance." And then they're
that
like,
shot.
"Oh my god,
Because
that was painful."
And like and Dominique Fishback, by the way, she did a great job in
I'm
this.
trying to remember what I've seen her in, but I've definitely
Project Power.
recognized her.
That was the last time we saw her.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But she looked more mature, more older this time around. I'm not sure if she's older than what she was playing in Project Power or vice versa, or she just grew. I don't know. But no, Project Power was that was last. Wow, that was last year.
And she was also in The Hate U Give.
Oh, you see, I never saw that one. Did you?
Yeah, I saw it.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to watch that one for sure. But yeah, I thought Dominique Fishback did a really great job. But yes, that shot, like it just pans in on her face, and they're like, oh, we got to make sure this one's dead. It's like bam, bam,
Yeah,
and like she just doesn't even like move a muscle, and it's almost as if like. Because I thought he was already dead, but like, no, they shot him 2 more times. And of course, she was carrying, I forgot the name of the person that Dominique Fishback played. I think it was
Deborah Johnson.
Deborah Johnson. Yeah, she was carrying Fred Hampton child. And I was like, oh,
Yeah,
okay.
they showed that towards the end, and it was almost like, I almost like clapped at it because they mentioned that they stayed active in the party for many years, and that now
his son
Fred Hampton Jr. is the chairman of the current Chicago division, which is just awesome.
I was man, oh man. Like I just because when I saw LaKeith or William O'Neill, he just walks out because I really liked LaKeith in this movie though because he was very
you could tell he was invested, but you could also see that he just wanted to get out.
Yeah, he wanted to get out. He wanted to save his own skin, and I mean, the feds had him by the balls the entire movie.
And then the reward he gets at the end is a gas station. After all of that work, he thinks he's going to come out and get all this money. They give him a gas station, and a couple of $100.
Right. That's if that's not a slap in the face. All just not to go to jail. And he's like, well, the first thing was, stealing the car. I think Jesse Plemons' character said that it was like what, a year and a half. But then what was it? Impersonating a
federal
officer was like 5 years. I'm like, that's probably true today. I really don't know, but I'm imagining it's around the same. Well, at least for the Fed part, I really don't know about the stolen car type situation, the Grand Theft Auto. But yeah, that was man. He just wanted out. You could tell that that William O'Neill really wanted to help the Black Panther Party, but it's like he was just looking after his own skin. I mean, like obviously, he was invested in, but then it's like, hey, like I kind of messed up and now I'm in this really sticky situation. What do I do? Like, who do I run to? And it's like, he couldn't tell the Black Panther Party because what happened to the other dude where they like skinned him alive or poured like
put hot water
on him,
dumped him in a lake or something.
Man.
But that was just all set up by the FBI in the first place. Yeah. It was their informant who did the murder and then came and acted like
I feel like this is Daredevil season 1 all over again. Like the feds, but I mean, it's, instead of it being, Wilson Fisk, having his, being in everyone's pockets, it's like, it's just like a larger authority controlling everything, like everything. I was blown away, man. I really, really was. But was there anything else you wanted to touch on before we wrap up here?
I mean, obviously, Daniel Kaluuya and LaKeith Stanfield both just killed it. Like they're just so good at their roles. But I also liked some of the minor characters too. Like
there was one.
Their names were Jake Winters and what was the other one?
I have to look on IMDb.
Jimmy Palmer.
Jimmy Palmer. That was Jimmy Palmer was the one who got shot by the cops when he.
Yeah, he was the first one that got shot.
Yeah, he was the first one that got shot, and then his friends.
And his friend was Jimmy Palmer. The actor is from Moonlight. That's where I recognized him from.
See, I still haven't seen Moonlight.
And Jake Winters, the actor, is from Euphoria.
Oh yeah, Euphoria.
The football
there we go.
player.
The football. Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's like you said, I think you said this a few podcasts back. It's like Warner Brothers. They really love to rinse and repeat actors and actresses for
all those streaming services do it. Seems like.
Yeah.
They probably have contracts and deals for multiple roles.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get Scorsese working in pretty much. I mean, you get Robert De Niro working in pretty much every Martin Scorsese movie ever made, almost. But yeah, excuse me. But yeah, that was.
Speaking of Martin Scorsese, I was looking at the trivia for this movie.
Yeah,
and the director mentioned that his initial idea for the film was The Departed inside the world of counterintelligence program, and I just thought that was such a clever way of framing this story.
And
you got the rat and the group he's infiltrating. How interesting that is.
I also like the other female actress who was in this. She held LaKeith Stanfield at gunpoint when
that was a pretty tense scene because we know that he's telling the truth, but he's also not telling the truth.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He's lying, but not lying.
Exactly. It's almost as if you put two people in the room like a lie detector, and it's like, okay, well, under like a certain situation, like obviously someone has to be lying, but then they all both end up like telling the truth, and it's like that was crazy because he's like, oh man, like I hotwired the car, and I was like, does he even know how to hotwire a car? Like, is he gonna come out of this like alive? Or that was very, very scary. I was just like, never want to be in a situation like that. Because it's like she was just like, hey, where's your piece? He's like, I was in the glove compartment, and it's like it's something that you should be able to just share that information because your comrades, you're part of the same fight. And also, what did you think of the really quick? What did you think of the other parties that kind of came their way into? I think it was like the crowns.
Surprising because there's the Rainbow Coalition that they ended up forming.
Yeah,
which just shows how
that was really surprising.
Well respected Fred Hampton actually was, and how well he portrayed his message because he got the I don't know what they were called, but they were seemingly like Proud Boys basically, and he got them involved, and he got the Latino group involved.
Yeah,
it was just crazy.
I was like, okay, you got blacks, whites, Hispanics, just like everybody's just banding together under like one cause. And I mean, it was all about the pigs. The pigs had too much money, and the pigs had too much power. That's what it was. It was literally just running the entire operation. It's like as if nothing else mattered. And I mean, like we said, earlier in the pod, like this does kind of speak, like, I mean, echoes today's times. I mean, do cops have too much power? Like when it comes to situations like this, and it's like big issues like this, they try to reach it, like go over the cops and over, to the bigger parties out there to grab everyone's attention, the higher ups, but it kind of just gets, squabbled down by the pigs and their Dunkin' Donuts. So, but hey, it is what it is. But yeah, this movie was. We could literally talk about this like for hours, but we are on a time schedule. Do you want to get into scores?
Let's do it.
All right, so I'll go first this time around for Judas and the Black Messiah. I'm going to. I mean, this is a pretty. I mean, it. Like we said before, it speaks volumes. This is a story we never really learned in school, and sorry, Utah, but you need to get your shit together. Anyway, but I think I'm gonna give this a 95. Like, I don't want to give it 100 just because of that one small issue that I had was just, him talking super fast, but of course that was him portraying a real life person. But besides that, this film was crazy, dude. I thought it was going to go a totally different way, and I was completely wrong. What about you?
Yeah, I'm feeling a similar way. I'm going to give it a strong 91.
Ooh, there we go. See,
It's just crazy that, this all actually happened, and we aren't learning about it until just now.
Yeah. Yeah. See, and I've noted, like, every single time that I do a score, I always do, like, it's either, even or odd numbers. Like, it's not a 70. It's not like a 73, 74. It's a 75. I need to start going in between the lines.
Yeah, I was thinking that too. So that's why I went with a little odd number.
Well, I'll lower it down to 94 just to, actually, no, I'll hire it to 96. 96. There we go. No, there we go. But yeah, I'm going to keep that in mind, definitely. Because I always have the tend to, like, on the first viewing of movies, I'm like, wow, that was amazing. And it's like, everyone's like, oh, well, even with like Malcolm and Marie, like, yeah, Malcolm and Marie has issues. We've talked about it. But like, I still think, like, I loved the relationship side more of that movie, more so than when they were talking about like the LA Times and all that stuff, because that was clearly, that movie is clearly meant to be dissected. And so is Judas and the Black Messiah. This movie is clearly meant to be a little bit more informative than dissected, more so from Malcolm and Marie versus this. But yeah,
very, very similar to the trial of Chicago 7.
Yes, very, very similar. So I'm hoping this gets the Oscar noms that it deserves, honestly, because this is probably one of the best ensembles we've seen since Trial of Chicago 7, to be completely honest. So I always love those big ensemble casts. So yeah, so we got a 91 from Devin and a 96 from me, and that pretty much wraps up today's review. Really quick before we get into our closing segment here, again, make sure to review and rate us on Apple Podcasts, because I'm telling you guys, it matters so much with placement. We're trying to make this podcast the best that it can be for our listeners out there. Yes, we're on YouTube, but that is more so just for our, news show, our news / whatever we're watching for the week, to kind of condense or not put as much strain onto us. But like I've said before in the past, we are a podcast first. That's why I don't really, unless it's like a really, really big movie, our episodes are still going to be audio only, like majority of them, or at least half of them, if we're doing our news segment with a brand new spanking show like WandaVision that's coming out. But yeah, please leave us a 5-star review, 5-star rating and a review on Apple Podcasts or whatever podcast platform you listen to on this. So that's a wrap for today, everyone. Thank you all for listening, and make sure to check out the other shows over on MusicCityDriving.com and subscribe to our show so you never miss an episode. That was Devin. My name is Christian, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Still got to work on that timing. It's okay.